and a very warm welcome. You're watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Let's get started. Our top focus tonight on Gravitas is on the Russia-Ukraine war. We tell you all about Russia's largest missile and drone attack on Ukraine. What's the strategy here? What are things looking like on the ground? And where do they go from here? All that coming up in just a bit. And here's a look at what else is lined up for you on the show tonight. We tell you all about a new chapter in Pakistan, with former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khans' sons stepping out of the shadows. A lot happening there. We get you the latest. Taiwan has launched its largest ever war drills. We tell you all that you need to know, along with the significance of the move. All this and more coming up. Our top focus tonight is on the Russia-Ukraine war. It has become more dangerous. It is becoming more deadly. In the latest, Russia pummels Ukraine with its largest missile and drone attack in more than 3 years of the war. In fact, Moscow claims to have targeted an airfield in a region bordering EU and NATO member Poland. With aerial attacks intensifying, the big question at this point is, have we entered a whole new turn in this war?
A chilling new chapter unfolds in the brutal war. Russia has dramatically escalated its attack. Every passing day breaks a new record. It was Ukraine's darkest night. Russian forces unleashed a record-breaking aerial onslaught, firing a bone-shattering 728 Shahed-style drones and launching 7 Iskander-K cruise missiles. Russia also fired 6 hypersonic Kinzhal missiles. In total, 741 airborne weapons struck various parts of Ukraine. The hardest hit was Ukraine's western region. Drones and missiles struck the western cities of Lutsk, Lviv, Khmelnytsky and Ternopil. Ukrainian military claims that most of the projectiles were struck down. The consequences are dire. Ukrainian officials warn that the new wave of Russian drones and missiles are destroying weapons hubs, supply lines and military bases with pinpoint accuracy. Civilian casualties are mounting as drones target energy grids, and residential areas, plunging cities into darkness and chaos. The psychological toll is immense. No corner of Ukraine feels safe as the buzz of drones and missiles becomes a constant terror overhead. This surge in drone warfare is forcing Ukraine and its allies to rethink their entire defensive playbook. Western leaders, including US President Donald Trump, have pledged to send more weapons to Kyiv. But the question remains, can they keep pace with Russia's relentless drone factories? As the skies over Ukraine grow deadlier by the day, one thing is clear. This is a new era of warfare, and Ukraine is fighting for its very survival against an enemy that never sleeps. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
And while we talk about Russia's intensifying aerial attacks on Ukraine, we must also ask, what exactly is fueling them? Rather, who is fueling them? The answer, according to reports, is China. China, which publicly claims to be neutral in this war, is silently powering Russia's drone war machine. And reports say that with China's help, Russia has more than tripled its drone production, more than tripled. And now the president of Ukraine is striking back by ordering sanctions on Chinese firms that supply parts for Russia's deadly drones. In fact, analysts from the Institute for the Study of War saying Chinese engineering know-how is crucial to Russian drone manufacturing, and that Chinese-made components have been found in UAVs shot down over Ukraine. On Tuesday, the Russian Prime Minister announced that Russia has more than tripled its planned drone production volumes for 2025. And he credited this to greater state funding and support for producers, including civilian companies. ISW says this boost in drone output is enabling Russia's nightly strikes on civilian targets and increasing attacks on Ukrainian frontline positions. Here's how. Drones are now being used to strike frontline and rare positions. They destroy Ukrainian ground lines of communication, artillery and rocket systems. And according to another war monitor, Ukraine-based Frontelligence Insight has reported that over 28,000 Shahed variant drones were launched by Russia on Ukraine. Since the war first started, over 2,700 drones, 10% of that total, launched in June 2025 alone. In fact, between February and April this year itself, Russia produced an average of 60 ground drones per day. That's about 1,850 drones per month. Ukraine's commander-in-chief, meanwhile, has said that Russia launched nearly 2 times more missiles and drones in the month of June as compared to May. And several reports are saying that Russia's defense industry has also worked closely with Chinese companies throughout the war, even as Western sanctions target drone components. In May 2023, a Russian delegation to China established Aerohit, a joint venture with a Chinese university. The Aerohit plant is located in a Russian city called Khabarovsk. It's reportedly on track to produce 10,000 drones per month in 2025. 10,000. And just last month, it reportedly requested $90 million from Russia's defense ministry in order to expand production. And reports say Aerohit relies heavily on Chinese engineers to mass produce its FPV drone Veles, which is being used extensively in the Kherson region. Now, for the unversed, FPV drones are basically drones that allow the pilots to see what the drone sees in real time through a camera that's mounted on the drone, typically via goggles or a monitor. Ukraine's main military intelligence directorate, HUR, reports that 60 to 65% of components in the Russian Iran drones are Chinese in origin. Last week itself, the Security Service of Ukraine, the SPU, confirmed that drone wreckage in Kyiv contained parts from Chinese firm Suzhou ECOD Precision Manufacturing. And now there are reports suggesting that a new type of Chinese Wi-Fi router was found installed on the Russian Gerber drones shot down in Ukraine. But China's double speak on the war, in a way, should come as no surprise at the same time. While Beijing presents itself as a potential peacemaker, its actions seem to tell a completely different story. China denies providing military support to Russia. But remember, this year also saw allegations of Chinese nationals fighting alongside Russian troops in Ukraine, a claim that Beijing denied, by the way. And then earlier this month, the Chinese foreign minister even told the EU's top diplomat that China cannot accept Russia losing the war, as it would allow the US to focus fully on China. What does all of that tell you? To us, it sounds like China does not want the war to end. You see the contradictions? Just before the war started in 2022, the Chinese President Xi Jinping had declared a no-limits partnership with Moscow. And since then, the political and economic ties between the two sides have only strengthened. And in response, Zelensky has ordered sanctions on 5 Chinese companies. Parts from these firms were found in Shahed drones used in the July 4 attack on Kyiv. Zelensky's office saying that these companies have supplied goods to Russian defense-linked firms under sanctions in both 2024 as well as 2025. And now Ukraine is working with international partners to basically push for wider sanctions on Chinese suppliers. A new political chapter seems to be unfolding in Pakistan. Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's sons are now stepping out of the shadows. Sulaiman Khan and Qasim Khan, both in their mid-20s, will now lead a global campaign demanding their father's release. And the announcement came from Khan's sister, hours after Pakistan's government tightened its crackdown on dissent. Listen to this.
इमरान खान के अपने बच्चे हैं सुलेमान और कासिम, उनको ये बता दिया है कि वो अब सुनने को वो भी तैयार नहीं है। हम ही ने उनको रोका हुआ था, लेकिन अब वो पहले तो वो जा रहे हैं अमेरिका, और वो अपने जो दोस्त हैं उनसे कहते हैं अगर ये जा सकते हैं तो हम भी जाएंगे, और हम जाके बताएंगे कि यहाँ इंसानी हकूक़ के साथ और क्या जुल्म हो रहे हैं उनके वालिद के साथ। एक दूसरा, सुलेमान कासिम ने कहा है कि उसके बाद हम आएंगे पाकिस्तान, और वो तहरीक के अंदर अपना हिस्सा लेना चाहते हैं।
Sulaiman and Qasim are Imran Khan's sons from his first marriage. In fact, Sulaiman is known to have an interest in cricket and has kept a rather low profile. His younger brother, on the other hand, voiced support for Imran Khan's party PTI during Pakistan's 2024 elections. Raised in the UK, both brothers have largely kept a distance from Pakistan politics until recently. Following Imran's 2004 divorce, the boys lived with their mother, but occasionally appeared at public events. Pakistan authorities have blocked the YouTube channel of Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf and banned 26 other platforms associated with the party, even from behind bars. In Rawalpindi's Adiala jail, Imran Khan remains a dominant force, galvanizing crowds, commanding support across Pakistan's diaspora. And just for context here, August 5 is the date when Imran Khan will complete 2 years in prison. Could this be the day when the movement for Imran Khan, led by his sons, reaches its peak? Imran Khan hails from the Niazi and Burki Pashtun tribes and was Pakistan's captain, remember, when the country won its solitary ODI World Cup in the year 1992. Khan has 4 sisters and has been married thrice. He was briefly married to British Pakistani journalist Reham Khan in 2015. And since 2018, Khan has been married to Bushra Bibi, a prominent spiritual figure there. His wider family includes cousins Javed Burki and Majid Khan, both cricketers, and uncles from both lineages, influential in politics and sports. With Suleiman and Qasim now at the front lines, a political dynasty appears to be taking shape with a clear mission of freeing their father and challenging Pakistan's powerful military establishment. Pakistan's political battlefield is no longer just within its borders, it has gone global. Standing in Khan's way is Pakistan's Field Marshal, Asim Munir, the man many believe holds the real power in the country. Last month itself, Munir rushed to Washington, remember, for a meeting with US President Donald Trump. And now Imran's sons are preparing to take their case to the US President and the international leaders, urging them to intervene for their father's release. This feud between Khan and Munir is an open secret. Khan has repeatedly accused him of launching a personal vendetta, even claiming that Munir turned against his wife Bushra Bibi after being ousted as head of the ISI. And since mid-2023, Khan has faced multiple graft and rioting charges, and his party, the PTI, has been systematically dismantled. PTI members contested elections as independents, and recently PTI even lost its reserved seats in the National Assembly. But Khan's incarceration has not diminished his influence. The state machinery may be under Munir's command, but the public pulse, both on the ground and online, appearing to be beating for Imran Khan. The message seems to be clear here. Khan may be behind bars, but the fight is far from over, and his sons are now picking up the baton. Switching gears for now, the Taiwan Strait is on edge all over again, and this time it is Taipei which is making the moves. Taiwan has launched its largest ever war drills, pulling in thousands of reservists and rolling out high-tech US weapons. And they are not alone in the region. Japan is also arming up, boosting its defenses just miles from Taiwan's coast amid the escalating tensions with China. Our next report telling you more.
Taiwan kicked off its largest military drills aimed at defending against a possible Chinese invasion. China claims Taiwan as part of its territory and has threatened to use force to seize it. Taiwan's annual Hankuang exercises will run from July 9 to 18. These 10 days, round-the-clock drills include over 22,000 reservists, largest mobilization Taiwan has ever seen. Camouflaged reservists are training hard, assembling rifles, handling machine guns, and running live tactical scenarios. The message is clear. Taiwan is preparing for the worst. Beijing continues to circle the island with fighter jets and warships. Just before these drills began, Taiwan spotted 31 Chinese aircraft and 7 warships nearby, and Taipei isn't taking chances. Newly arrived HIMARS rocket systems from the US will also be part of the drills. HIMARS can fire as many as 6 rockets, 2 precision strike missiles and 1 surface-to-surface guided ballistic missile, and has been extensively used by Ukraine against Russia in the Russia-Ukraine war. HIMARS, along with the American-made M1A2 Abrams tanks, will be tested under simulated battlefield conditions. The opening phase of the drills focuses on countering Chinese harassment tactics near Taiwan's offshore islands. Taiwan's military is also fortifying key landing points and ports, wary of China's disguising an invasion as routine provocation, while the military will also rehearse ways to repel a beach landing, anticipating the kind of full-scale war that Chinese President Xi Jinping hinted at for the year 2027. Across the East China Sea, Japan is taking no chances either. The Japanese army has been stationing its V-22 Osprey aircraft at a brand new base in Camp Saga, strategically located near the Ryukyu Islands. This island chain is just over 100 kilometers from Taiwan, and its importance is growing fast as Tokyo braces for potential fallout from any Taiwan Strait conflict. China has been staging massive war games around Taiwan, especially since last year, and with these latest measures, both Taiwan and Japan appear to be moving from caution to war readiness. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
On to the United States now, which is ramping up its missile defenses like never before. Not just for Ukraine, but for its own forces in West Asia. The US Army is planning to quadruple its purchase target for Patriot Missiles, a system critical against drones, cruise missiles and ballistic threats. According to Bloomberg, the US Army will be spending more than $1.3 billion on Patriot Missiles in the fiscal year starting October 1. Budget documents revealing that it has quietly quadrupled its overall purchase target for the missiles that have become so vital in Ukraine as well as West Asia. Before we go any further, this is what Patriot missiles are all about and why they are in demand. The Patriot PAC-3 MSC, America's frontline air and missile defense interceptor, it targets drones, cruise missiles, tactical ballistic missiles. It has a range of around 35 kilometers. For ballistic threats, it flies at speeds over Mach 4. That's more than 4,900 kilometers per hour. Built by Lockheed Martin, the Patriot missiles are powered by a solid rocket motor. On the 16th of April, a panel of top army officials reportedly raised the buying plan for the most advanced Patriot interceptor. That is the PAC-3 MSE. The PAC-3 MSE is made by Lockheed Martin. It can intercept drones, cruise missiles, tactical ballistic missiles. Purchases were raised from 3,376 to a massive 13,773 missiles. And this is reportedly part of the US Army's fiscal 2026 budget request. Now, while these numbers set up the requirements, they don't directly translate into contracts just yet. But American lawmakers are now crafting policy and funding bills for the Defense Department that could actually take these projections into account. What does that mean, though? It basically shows the US Army's reliance on the battle-tested Patriot missile, especially as demand for it grows from US allies. Ukraine, in particular, has relied heavily on Patriot missiles and interceptors to defend itself against Russian missile assaults. America has so far provided Ukraine with 3 Patriot batteries and an unspecified number of interceptors since the war started in 2022. President Trump has confirmed that he is sending more defensive weapons to Ukraine, overturning an earlier administration decision that had halted deliveries. And Trump has also once again criticized the Russian president for, quote, killing too many people. Meanwhile, American forces in West Asia are also deploying Patriots, defending Israel and shielding the Al Udeid air base in Qatar against Iranian missile attacks after US strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, said last month itself that US soldiers absolutely crushed it as they intercepted 14 incoming Iranian missiles. And before we go on any further, here's a quick look at what else is lined up for you on the show tonight. We're getting you the latest moves in Trump's tariff tango. The US president has announced a 50% tariff on copper imports, aiming to boost domestic production. We're getting you the complete story in just a bit. According to a new study, screen time is becoming a regular part of early childhood. We tell you more. Our planet seems to be in a hurry today. Why is Earth spinning faster than usual today? We tell you all that you need to know. Switching focus for now, Elon Musk's AI chatbot is in the news once again. The chatbot is at the center of a major storm for spewing anti-Semitic slurs and showering praise on Hitler in response to user prompts. In one instance, when a user prompted the chatbot to identify the historical figure best suited to address a post celebrating the deaths of children in the recent Texas floods, the chatbot gave a rather alarming answer: Hitler. And that's not the end of it. The chatbot went as far as recommending a second Holocaust. The Texas floods, remember, have claimed over 100 lives so far. More than 160 remain unaccounted for. In another user reply, the chatbot described Jewish people with phrases like beards and schemes, adding that individuals with Jewish surnames are mostly responsible for anti-white hate. Interestingly, the anti-Semitic remarks from the chatbot came just days after Elon Musk declared that the chatbot had been significantly improved. Meanwhile, Grok's parent company has acknowledged the mistake and deleted the controversial post, adding that it is working to refine for accuracy and balance, not bias. And the company is all set to unveil its latest chatbot, Grok 4, later today. Now, this chatbot is no stranger to controversy. In May, it falsely claimed that white genocide was underway in South Africa, a claim that experts have long since debunked. There have been several instances where the chatbot has selectively ignored user prompts that do not conform to its particular ideological stance. It has also undermined the credibility of established media organizations and downplayed the consequences of far-right extremist violence. Despite Musk's recent claims of improvement, the chatbot's string of alarming, biased responses casting a harsh light on the rapid evolution of AI overall, raising critical questions about accountability and ethical oversight, perhaps, in its development and deployment. The ascent of Indian origin leaders to the top rungs of global corporations is no longer a surprise. It's a pattern, from Sundar Pichai at Google to Satya Nadella at Microsoft, Leena Nair at Chanel. The presence of Indian talent on Wall Street and Silicon Valley boards continues to grow. And now another name joining this global Hall of Fame: Sabir Khan, the new Chief Operating Officer of Apple Inc. Born in Uttar Pradesh in 1966, Khan's journey is the quintessential global Indian story. After early schooling in India and Singapore, he moved to the US, earning dual degrees in economics and mechanical engineering from Tufts University, followed by a master's in mechanical engineering from RPI New York. He joined Apple in 1995 and rose steadily through its operations division. With nearly 3 decades at the giant, Khan has played a pivotal role in shaping Apple's supply chain, greening its manufacturing ecosystem, and also steering it through the COVID-19 disruptions. And now, as COO, he succeeds Jeff Williams in a long-planned transition, cementing his position as one of the most powerful operations leaders in global tech. Yet, while Indians like Khan earn praise for their global leadership, the question still is, why isn't this talent contributing more directly to India's tech or manufacturing ecosystems in a way? But this story is not about Khan alone. It's also about systems. If India wishes to retain its brightest minds, it must also foster an environment of cutting-edge research, visionary investment, and transparent governance all the more. Until then, the West could continue to tap into India's intellectual capital in this way. In India, something straight out of a movie script. A couple from the southern state of Kerala accused of defrauding hundreds of investors of several hundred crore rupees. Reports saying the couple disappeared after operating a large-scale chit fund scheme in Bengaluru worth 100 crore rupees. That's about $12 million for over 2 decades. They have been identified as Tommy Varghese and Shinny Tommy. The pair operated a chit fund company, A&A Chits and Finance, based in the city's Rammurthy Nagar. They promised sky-high returns of 50 to 20% on deposits. They made claims of secure RBI-backed schemes and promised monthly interest and quick returns. And the couple lured many families as well as retirees who trusted them with their hard-earned money, with some even investing their life savings. But how was this alleged fraud exposed after all? Well, the payouts started to stall in recent months, leading to complaints piling up against them. And it wasn't that difficult to connect the dots. Initial complaints came from a retired individual who reportedly lost 70 lakh rupees, some 81,000 US dollars, in the alleged scam. And since then, over 300 victims have come forward, with total losses estimated to be between 40 crore and 100 crore rupees. Not just that, the couple had reportedly liquidated significant assets, including a flat and several vehicles. An FIR against the couple has been registered, and the police investigation is underway. Authorities are also scanning CCTV footage and all possible monetary and travel records. In a fresh escalation of trade measures, US President Donald Trump has announced a 50% tariff on copper imports. Aiming to boost domestic production, copper prices surged over 13%. That's their biggest one-day gain since 1989. Following that announcement, let's break it down for you. You see, the US currently imports nearly half of its copper needs, primarily from Chile, Canada, and Peru. The tariff, set to take effect by end July, mirrors similar 50% duties already placed on steel and aluminium. US copper miners gained on expectations of increased domestic demand, and the move is seen as part of a broader effort to align industrial tariffs with national security priorities. India exported $2 billion worth of copper products globally in the financial year 2025, of which just $360 million, that's around 17%, was to the US. While this market segment could take a hit, India's diversified demand and growing domestic consumption may help cushion that blow. And in contrast, India's pharmaceutical sector faces far greater risk. The US is India's largest pharma export destination, in fact, accounting for $9.8 billion or 40% of total pharma exports. The proposed 200% tariff on pharma imports if implemented, could make low-cost Indian generics unviable in the US market, with generics forming over 90% of US prescriptions. And the move could disrupt both markets significantly. The tariff moves coming amid broader global realignments. Donald Trump is set to dispatch new tariff letters before the duties kick in from August 1. And India has not yet received such a letter, a sign that bilateral trade talks may be progressing. Donald Trump has said a deal with India is close, and its outcome could determine whether sectors like pharma and copper are granted exemptions or face rollouts. Meanwhile, Trump reiterated a possible 10% across-the-board tariff on BRICS countries, including India, further raising the stakes ahead of that August 1 deadline. While world leaders debate whether climate change is real or not, countries around the world are scrambling to contain weather events. Fire, water, both dangerous elements in their extreme forms, have taken hundreds of lives, putting thousands more at risk. Our next report getting you the details. Take a look.
The world is feeling nature's fury. Climate crisis has spared no country, no matter how developed or advanced. From the west to the global south, climatic extremes are rearing their ugly head. Authorities world over are scrambling to save lives and livelihood of thousands. Texas has been ravaged by floods. More than 150 remain missing. The death toll, well beyond 100, continues to rise. A children's summer camp ending in tragedy, with at least 28 children facing the flood's fury. Search and rescue operations are in full swing, but hope of finding survivors is fading with each passing day. Governor Greg Abbott has vowed to not stop until every person is found. As the US looks to get a grip on the crisis in Texas, flash floods have battered New Mexico. Horrifying visuals have emerged from the mountain village of Ruidoso. Houses swept away, destroyed, with residents trapped in their vehicles and homes. Authorities have opened emergency shelters to accommodate the locals and tourists displaced. No casualties have been reported so far, but at least 3 people are missing. European nations are battling a climate crisis of another extreme. In southwest France, firefighters are working overtime to curtail a wildfire. They have achieved some success, but the blaze has already burnt through 2,000 hectares, with winds adding to the challenge. An eyewitness footage from Narbonne shows large orange flames lighting up the night sky. The wildfire reached France's town of Marseille, but lost intensity overnight. Residents are worried, but officials say that the situation is now under control. Spain is battling a similar catastrophe. Wildfires are raging through parts of Catalonia, with strong winds further fanning the flames. Spain's military emergency unit has joined firefighters to contain the blaze. Thousands of acres have been turned to ash, and residents are trying to curtail the damage in their own personal capacity. People in neighboring towns have been advised to remain indoors and stay alert. In China, tropical storm Danis has triggered flash flood warnings in the eastern region. Torrential rain swept across several coastal cities and towns. The downpour has triggered landslides and flash floods over a 1,400-kilometer inland region. While the storm has weakened, authorities have activated emergency flood and typhoon protocol and advised appropriate precaution. Bordering Tibet, Nepal's Rasuwa district also witnessed heavy flooding. 9 people have died and several others are still missing. The Nepal-China Friendship Bridge has been washed away by severe floods. Rescue operations continue as military helicopters airlift people to safety. In India, more than 80 people have tragically died in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand after a series of flash floods and cloudbursts ravaged the region. More than 115 people have been injured and scores went missing. Authorities are still assessing infrastructural damage, with buildings, including a bank, now just rubble. Nature's catastrophe has spared no one. The spate of tragedies worldwide has yet again put the spotlight on the rising danger of climate crisis, the inevitability of humankind's ignorance, and the price that thousands are now paying. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
The UK is in the grip of what seems like a weed epidemic, and the police has deployed boots on the ground to tackle this crisis head on. Nearly 2 weeks ago, 14 police and crime commissioners in the UK called for cannabis, currently a Class B drug, to be upgraded to Class A, saying that it does more harm to the society than hard drugs like heroin. And they also said that the drug had devastating effects with more associated birth defects than the morning sickness drug that caused deformities among thousands of babies in the 1950s and 1960s. The widespread use of cannabis has been reported in several places in the UK, including public places and transport. The head of the College of Policing even saying that in his community, children are also frightened to use the bus stop because, quote unquote, it always stinks of cannabis. And one can almost sniff the dangers associated with it. Cops also suspecting that cannabis and crime often go hand in hand, with drug use pointing towards increased aggression and violent deaths ranging from road accidents to murder. In the UK, the recreational use of cannabis is deemed illegal. The police can issue a warning or charge an on-the-spot fine if one is found with cannabis. The penalty for possession, however, may vary depending on how frequently it happens. And not just the UK, Portugal also has its policy of drug use under review after a 30-fold increase in cannabis-related psychosis, reportedly. In the US, while some parts have legalized recreational or medical cannabis, it remains federally illegal. In Thailand, the use of cannabis was legal until recently when the Thai government moved to restrict access to the drug. The list goes on. Even as there are arguments and counter-arguments, safety issues surrounding it, what's really the way forward? As per the cops, advising users of ways of harm reduction is only scratching the surface of what is a rather larger and complex issue. More vigilance, proactive measures, and increased awareness are required to nip the problem in the bud. Our next story is about a rather interesting turn of events. Bill Gates is no longer among the top 10 billionaires in the world. In fact, what's also interesting is that he now ranks below his former colleague, Steve Ballmer. Just for context here, Bill Gates had hired Ballmer at Microsoft. And in a major reshuffle on the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, Bill Gates has exited the top 10 richest people globally, now sitting at the 12th spot with an estimated net worth of $124 billion. And that's a sharp $52 billion decline in just 1 week, according to reports. The drop is not tied to market performance or poor financial decisions, but rather a reflection of massive philanthropic allocations Gates has made in recent years. Let's just break this down further for you. The latest update adjusts the valuation of Gates' assets based on the extent of his charitable commitments. The Microsoft co-founder has pledged to donate nearly all of his wealth, with over $60 billion reportedly already given to the Gates Foundation, and more earmarked for future causes. This shift marks a deliberate transition from wealth accumulation to large-scale global giving, particularly in healthcare, education, and development. Meanwhile, former CEO Steve Ballmer has risen to the 5th place on the global wealth rankings with an estimated net worth of $172 billion. Ballmer's long-standing and concentrated ownership of Microsoft stock has paid off handsomely as the company continues its upward climb in AI and enterprise dominance. While Gates and other early leaders diversified their holdings, Barmer stayed the course with Microsoft equity and has now earned him a position among the world's richest. Together, their stories chart two interesting, in a way contrasting trajectories in the tech billionaire class. One of disciplined concentration leading to soaring wealth, and the other of purposeful redistribution, redefining success in a way. Gates may have fallen on that list, dropping the ranks, but his legacy strategy is pushing the limits of what private wealth can actually do for public good. Meanwhile, Barmer's rise showing what long-term conviction in one company can yield. Time and tide wait for none, but brace yourselves, time is picking up pace. In fact, our planet seems to be in a hurry. Scientists are warning that the Earth is spinning faster over the coming months, shortening several days. In fact, tonight, the 9th of July, promises to be the shortest day ever recorded, thanks to the moon's unique alignment with our planet. Take a look.
For eons, Earth's rotation has been gradually, almost imperceptibly, decelerating, largely due to the moon's gravitational drag. This cosmic tango has been the bedrock of our understanding of planetary mechanics. Yet since around 2020, this millennia-long trend has shockingly reversed. Our planet has been spinning progressively faster, culminating in today's record-breaking brevity, with July 9th shortened by up to 1.6 milliseconds. This tiny fraction of a second, imperceptible to human senses, is a big anomaly to the ultra-precise atomic clocks that govern our global timekeeping. Scientists are baffled. This isn't the usual slowing under tidal drag, it's the opposite. Scientists say the reason could be a combo of the moon's distant orbital position and mysterious forces deep within Earth's core. Possibly amplified by shifting water and melting ice mass. These phenomena, by subtly altering the planet's mass distribution, could indeed influence its rotational speed, much like a spinning ice skater drawing their arms in to accelerate. While some events have been known to change Earth's rotation. The 9.0 Japan earthquake in 2011 shortened the day by 1.8 microseconds, but experts say that no one knows what's causing the current trend. As the Earth races ahead, humanity is left to ponder the profound cosmic forces at play, fundamentally challenging our understanding of our own planet's rhythmic dance in the cosmos.
Switching gears for now, let's tell you about a new study from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Raipur, which has raised fresh concerns. Screen time is quietly becoming a regular part of early childhood. According to the study, children under the age of 5 in India are spending an average of 2.2 hours every day on screens, which is double the limit recommended by the World Health Organization. The meta-analysis published in the journal Curious analyzed data from 10 different studies comprising 2,857 children. Researchers from AIIMS Raipur found that children under 2, who ideally should not have any screen time at all, are exposed to screens for around 1.2 hours daily. The study says that increased screen time among children can lead to several health issues, including slowed language development, reduced cognitive function, poor social skills, a higher risk of obesity, disturbed sleep patterns, and difficulty in concentrating. And to reduce these health risks, the study recommends creating tech-free zones at home, setting simple daily time limits and encouraging offline play for children. This is not just a problem in India, of course. It's a growing global concern. International benchmarks recommend that children under the age of 5 should get at least 3 hours of physical activity every day, including 1 hour of intense exercise. And they should also get between 10 to 13 hours of sleep and no more than 1 hour of screen time daily. A global study which looked at around 7,000 children across 33 countries found that only 14.3% of 3 to 4 year olds actually meet all these health standards, while 81% get enough sleep. Just 41.8% meet the screen time recommendations. Around 49.2%, meanwhile, get enough physical activity. And in response, some countries have taken firm measures. In France, for example, health authorities have advised against any screen use before the age of 3. China has imposed a strict mobile phone ban at night and capping online gaming for minors to just 3 hours a week. In Sweden, the Public Health Agency has recommended no screens at all for children under 2. A move that mirrors guidance in Ireland, where experts say babies up to 18 months should not be exposed to screens. In France, the government is clear: children under 3 should have no screen time. And up until the age of 6, it should be strongly limited. The most iconic venue in world cricket will be the stage for the third test between India and England, and the best bowler in the world, Jasprit Bumrah, will return to the Indian side for the Lord's Test. Bumrah seemed in high spirits during India's practice session on Tuesday. Indian captain Shubman Gill confirmed after the victory that Bumrah will make his return at Lord's. Bumrah played in the defeat at Headingley last month, remember, and this will be his second test of the series. Remember, he is only going to be playing 3 matches during the tour as part of his workload management due to frequent back issues. Bumrah bowled almost for an hour during practice at Lord's, which was an optional session. Prasidh Krishna could make way for Bumrah in the playing 11. The Indian squad is still riding high after a hugely impressive win in Birmingham. The manner of the victory particularly stood out. In the absence of Bumrah, Akashdeep and Mohammad Siraj both stepped up, and how, and they are expected to retain their place in the 11. India's first win under the new captain saw the skipper himself put in a phenomenal display with a double century followed by another 100.
Say more mental and definitely a little technical adjustment he has made, but I think it's more mental. The determination I have seen, the way he batted, obviously everyone, you guys must have seen as well. So first game, second inning, he played a shot early, which probably he thought it was too early to play that, and he spoke about that. And next test, he didn't play a single ball when he wasn't in for enough time. So it's a lot more mental, yes.
Gill's 430 runs in the test, being the second highest in a test in history. He already has 3 centuries in the series, and his average over the last 2 tests is almost a staggering 150. The good news for India is that he is not the only man in form. Rishabh Pant, KL Rahul, Yashasvi Jaiswal have all scored centuries in the series and average above 50. India have scored 1,849 runs in the first 2 tests against England. It is the highest by any team across the first 2 tests of a series in history. 1,014 of those runs came in Birmingham. It was the first time India scored over 1,000 in a test match and became just the 4th team to do so, by the way. It is a remarkable achievement for the batting unit, given the fact that stalwarts Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma both retired from Test cricket just before the series. And one man who will be feeling the pressure is Karun Nair. The middle order batter has scored 77 runs in 4 innings across the first 2 tests and remains the only one among India's top 7 not to register a 50 in the series. Nair had famously tweeted back in 2022, "Dear cricket, give me another chance." While some would argue that the chance came belatedly, it has come. It's now or never for the 33-year-old. The Lord's test might be Nair's last opportunity, in fact, to deliver at the international level. And this time, he might not get another chance with the Indian team. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Gravitas. This is me, Molly Gambhir, signing off. Thanks for watching.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide, because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide, because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One. From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Hello there, welcome back to WION The World is One, and thank you for staying with us. Time now for Parts American Joker. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi honoured with Namibia's highest honour, the Order of the Most Ancient Welwitz Chia Mirabilis. It's the fourth award on its tour. The Prime Minister is to emplane from Windhoek to New Delhi. US President Donald Trump on Wednesday issued a round of tariff letters to 6 countries including Algeria, Brunei, Iraq, Libya, Moldova and the Philippines. Imposes tariffs ranging from 25 to 30% effective from the 1st of August. Israel's Foreign Minister